quarterfinal single elimination stage, and we have a lot of great matches still to come, all the way from Gandia, Spain. Our next match on this table will be the OUSCHANS, Yasmin and Albin. They'll be facing Team AYALA and OBAIDLY, Soledad AYALA and Ali OBAIDLY together. In the commentary booth for this match is Graham Hickman, my good friend, and myself, Tim de Ruiter, trying to go over all the shots. Welcome, Graham.
Hey, good morning, Tim. Yeah, nice, interesting match, this one. I'm not very familiar. Alaya, a little bit, seen her play, but OBAIDLY, not so much. Of course, Yasmin and Albin always seem to doubles together for obvious reasons, but they have had 5 matches to get here. They did lose out along the way to Jonas Suto and Savannah Easton, and they've battled their way through the loser side. However, AYALA and OBAIDLY all the way through on the winner's side. Not sure how much that bears on this match or makes a difference, Tim, of course. Yasmin and Albin won't really mind how they got here, but different routes, different matches can play a part, maybe.
Well, there's always different things to think about if you consider they have had maybe more table time than another team that goes through the winner's bracket. On the other side, the team that goes through the winner's bracket might have had more rest. So there's always 2 sides of the story. One thing that is for sure is they did get to the money rounds. The losing pair gets at least $5,000, and the team that wins this match will be guaranteed $10,000. So quite the money up for grabs. Albin will be breaking off in this opening set. We're playing best out of 3 sets, races to 4, winner break, and the early 10 balls do count. And a crushing break, as always, from Albin. He's made the 1. Nothing on the 2 ball, Graham.
Yeah, I thought the cue ball was going to fly in the corner pocket, but a little bit of traffic prevented it, but still no shot. Yeah, the breaks, to be honest, Yasmin also hits the break really hard as well, Tim. Definitely for me, probably one of the most powerful breaks in the women's game. Equally as Albin, but I do expect some big hitting breaks in this match.
Well, definitely the OUSCHANS will be breaking the balls very firm. I'm not too sure about the team on the right. As you mentioned, we both maybe not that familiar with OBAIDLY. I've seen AYALA play quite a couple times, but she's also been improving a lot. She's been traveling all over the place to grow her game. So who knows? She might have been working on her break. I mean, things can change quite easily.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't mean that they can't play, because clearly they can. Getting to the quarterfinals and getting in the money is great. All chasing that 40,000 first prize. What a payday for the mixed doubles. Really great event and great prize money. But on paper, obviously you would have to lean towards Yasmin and Albin. But as it's been proven, race to 4, these sets are quite short, Tim, and it's good that you can have a bad set if you like and regroup and start again. But I do like the format. But you do have to get off to a good start, I think. It's really important in these short races for obvious reasons.
Well, good safety shot from OBAIDLY right away. Albin will be kicking 2 rails. I feel like 2 rails might be the best option. There's the safety in mind in case he catches it a bit thicker or even a bit thinner. So not only trying to make this, but to separate the balls. Yeah, I was expecting this, but then a little bit more pace, Graham. Just left the 2 ball on.
Yeah, I thought the same. I think he was trying, like what you said, maybe Possibly catching a thin edge was what he was hoping for, or a thinner edge, just to send the cue ball a little bit further down. Kind of caught it in between, but he has left it on. First real chance for Ayala here. And then 6 ball jumps out at me, Tim, straight away. Is the potential our biggest issue on the table. It's not, obviously not, it is potable, but needs a bit of care.
Well, let's see. Can he still stay away from a bump on the 5, or will he have to push the 5 away?
Yeah, I kind of like using the 5. 4 ball's been pretty close to the side. You can just play this. Some players like to punch them in, but if you want to roll this in, that should also be fine. Depends on how you feel as a player. Everyone plays shots very different. 5 is definitely looking like an option.
Well, I like the fact that he's played this so soft, just because if you played stun, you would be pushing the 5 ball way more out. So you would create more distance to get from 5 to the 6. Now, sure, she will be traveling a bit from the 4 to the 5, but the 5 stays quite near to the 6. That's looking perfect. Wow. Great speed control if you consider this is a first track.
Yeah, I mean, could you have put that any better? Be honest, Tim. She's actually put that in a great spot. He can't even play. Well, he's looking to come above, so maybe doesn't want to land on the rail. Maybe he's taking a thinner 6 here. Yeah, maybe there's a bit more space between that 6 and 9 than appears on the screen. So, a couple of rails. I don't think she can run this with left-hand spin off 3 rails. It's too risky with the cloth. So maybe a thin one. Back and forwards, Tim, for the 7 in the bottom right here.
Oh, she chose to leave it long. I kind of liked playing that with inside to go 3 rails, but maybe she felt like playing the spin could have caused her to miss the 6, and obviously potting the ball is still the main objective playing pool.
Yeah, maybe where the 8 ball is favoured a long shot. Doesn't have to do a great deal with the cue ball. They've taken these very well. One more good shot here, just to get the cue ball in the middle of the table where the cue is highlighting there. Just leave a nice angle on the 6.
Well, I have to
On
say, some great queuing from OBAIDLY too. It's looking quite settled in yet. Looks like a straight queuist to me. It's definitely interesting how, if you would tell a lot of people that someone from Argentina and Qatar are playing together in one team and are in the quarterfinals of the Little Monster mixed doubles, a lot of people would be quite surprised, as both countries might not be the usual countries you hear of when it's about top players playing pool. But that's also how pool has been developing over the years.
Yeah, it's a great story, Tim. Really good point. It's nice to see the vast nationalities getting so deep, and of course, from a European perspective, the usual suspects on the left side of the table there. You see a lot of mainland Europe players, but yeah, it's nice to see far and away having a good run, and well, they've yet to lose a match, so they've earned their right to be here. And judging by that first rack, Tim, tell you what, they can definitely play. So this could be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely showing the OUSCHANS that they are ready and up for the challenge, which is exactly what we would like to see in this match. I'm a bit done with all the runovers from the commentator's perspective. I'm quite sure the OUSCHANS do not agree with me.
Yes, but yeah, it's hey, we've been treated to some fantastic pool matches so far, and we're nowhere near finished yet. This is just the quarterfinal stages. Even in the other events, yes, the women's Little Monsters International Open is done. Sia won that one against Kelly Fisher yesterday evening, but we still have this mixed doubles quarterfinals and semi-finals we played today. The final later, and we still have the Little Monsters Junior World Championships across the girls, under 17s and under 19 boys. It's a pretty good break. But nothing down.
Yeah, quite a decent safety opportunity for Albin here, sending the one ball straight down table. Cue ball runs quite naturally 2 rails behind the 5-9. Don't even think he needs to play spin, just gotta make sure he doesn't get the double kiss.
Yeah, both Albin and Yasmin renowned for these types of safety shots and battles. They're just so strong in the safety game, kicking, sticking, everything. It's not the kind of game you really want to get into with either of them, if you can avoid it, that is. This makes for a very tough pairing. This is a tough one to get out of as well, Tim. There's a lot of blocking balls here. Is it going to have to be the short rail, one rail kick up and down, maybe? Might be the only option.
Yeah, looks like it. That's what he's looking at too. Well, the other option could be the intentional fall, pushing the 3 and the 4 together, for example.
Yeah, good call. It's not a bad option, that, Tim, to be honest. You might be looking at that. He might have heard you. I think you're right. He's going to push that 3 in front of the 4. Yeah, 10 points to Tim de a good spot. Don't blame that shot. The kick was just so difficult, Tim, wasn't it? It wasn't worth the risk. Let's cause a problem and see where we go from there. I don't mind that option.
Yeah, the only bad news I have for Ayala and OBAIDLY is the fact that the 2-3 combination is like straight in. Would have been nice to give the OUSCHANS at least something to work on with the 2 and the 3 ball. This is kind of straightforward to me. Would say getting from the 4 to the 5 is possibly tricky, depending on what angle they manage to get from this 2 to the 4.
Yeah, I don't think Albin's happy with that. Maybe the angle that is left Yasmin is not ideal to go forward. She might have to draw this, depending on how it looks. Yeah, she can go forward.
Yeah, from this side, possibly playing shape to the left side of the 7. Just gotta be careful with the bump into the 9. Pocketing the 5 ball in the corner and trying to get on the 6. Possibly a thick contact on the 9 gives a lot of distance on the 6 ball. But I don't fancy them going to the right side of the 7. You're playing with the potential hook behind the 7 ball. So I just like staying at the left long rail and taking the bump on the 9.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Even if you bump into the 9 from the cue ball where the 9 ball is, it's not so crazy. Natural position to get back for the 7, and the 8 is over the side. So I do like the left side, but he is going the right side. Interesting choice, Tim, but sometimes you see it differently when you're at the table.
Well, I like it a lot more since he went from the short rail with top left towards where the cue ball is now. So I think there's less area to hook himself behind. Compared to if he went stun 2 rails, I think the hook is, well, a higher percentage to hook yourself. Oh.
Straight, maybe.
Jasmine might. Yeah, looks a bit straight. The 7 must go to the top left. In that case, Albin can either draw back maybe a ball or two, or go forward 2 rails.
Well, had enough, obviously. Just to squeeze it over. Now they're in prime position. Nothing really. All depends how they land on the 9, where they decide to take the 10 ball. The 10's kind of in the middle of the short reel, so they could go left corner or right corner. All depends on the angle from the 8. But I don't see anything really could go wrong here.
Bit more cut on the 9.
Yeah, maybe commentator's curse there, Tim. He's definitely overrun that. Yasmin's going to have to play. She might even have to go a couple of times across, unless she can get enough in it to come down the left side. I think it's a couple of rails, this. Yeah.
Well, the commentator's curse is not a real thing, so they are still gonna get out. No worries.
Wow. It's not a real thing, but it's amazing how many times it does happen when these things get said on air and players seem to miss a ball or something goes crazy. It might not be real, but sometimes it feels very real. But still, they get one on the board. That's more what we come to expect from this pair. 1-1. Good start from both pairs, Tim, you have to say. Pretty solid stuff, all in.
Well, obviously, as always in pool, the break very possibly can make a big difference. So it will be interesting to see what kind of changes will be made to figure something out on the break.
Yeah, referee just taking a moment. These are hand rack balls. There's no tap table, no magic rack. So important that the referee gets them set as close as possible. That's why it's just taking a little bit longer. Always makes for an interesting break format when they're hand racked. I don't mind either, but I think we've been so spoiled over the years of tap tables and magic racks to hand racks can also throw in a little bit of a different dynamic. But Yasmin, I've no doubt will be giving this a big hit. Good chance here. Nice break. Combo is an option. All about control here. The cue ball's running a little bit, so just a little bit down table, and there's a little bit of a blocker, so it's about making sure the 1 doesn't leave the corner pocket too much.
The only nasty thing that can happen, the cue ball is going to run into the 7, and the 1 could stay frozen to the short rail. So he had to play this with more pace in order to bring the 1 ball out. And well, he's just fine. Had to take a bit of a risk with the cue ball because of the added speed. Jasmine with low left, trying to kill the ball off the short rail, but it's not everybody's cup of tea.
I don't mind the option. What Albin's looking at there, he says, why don't you play it into the 7 ball? If she catches it full, it'll be okay. If she catches it thin, it'll slip to the right side of the table, maybe playing. Let's see what she's playing. She's playing it a lot of spin. Not sure what she was trying there, Tim. Maybe she thought she could hold it.
Yeah, pretty steep angle on this 2 now. And also, how is he gonna get on the 5? Yeah, he's hung up the 2.
Yeah, these are
Got
the
the
kind of
cue ball in a great position though, Graham. Jeez.
Yeah,
Good
he did.
morning.
I think that's why he's a bit frustrated, because even though it was thin, there was a chance there to come round the back of the 5. I was just about to say before I cut you off there, Tim. Sorry, was just to say these are the kind of chances that they need from Albin and Yasmin, because they don't come around that often. But the big question is, can they continue to take it like they did in the first rack? Because that'll be always a 9 ball. Oh, nice bump. They need to take these chances when they come, is what I was saying.
Yeah, a little bit of a tricky shot here. Is she going to run into the 6, pushing it over in front of the side? No, she found a gap between the 6-8. Nicely played. Now the only thing is, with this angle, the best he could do is either center table or to cross all the way over to the top left side of the table. If he leaves her center table, I'm not sure if she can draw the cue ball short enough from the 7 to the 8. And he chose to draw all the way over. He's missed the 6 ball. First real mistake from Ayala OBAIDLY.
Yeah, but it hasn't landed so great in terms of ease of potting. Looks like Yasmin will be looking for a safety option, potentially. Or is she going to go for attack on this?
Well, I'm wondering, is she banking the 6 down table and the cue ball underneath the 10?
Good pace on the 6, though. Cue ball wasn't behind the 10, but that's... Well, this is also pretty nasty. Yeah, you could try to play a slow roll separation, Tim, but this is not nice. This is a very high tariff shot, this.
Well, sometimes catching the double kiss is not too horrible on a shot like this. It's mainly pace. Yeah, this is not too horrible. You know, if they're gonna go for the bank, that it's going to bring the cue ball down table. Sure, they could go aggressive and bring the cue ball 3 rails around, but that's quite the shot to play. And I'm quite sure he's playing the safety shot thin off the 6 here.
Yeah, they're not playing too aggressive, especially with the races to 4. It's not worth the risk, because before you know it, you could have given a few easy racks away. There's no need to push the boat out yet, or even at all. He has left an edge on this, though. Or at least a cushion first. You can play thin off the 6. It's all about pace. Oh, cue ball, Tim.
Off the 7. Look at that 6 ball. He's brought the 6 ball down perfectly. It's a bit of a bummer for OBAIDLY. It's gonna cost him a rack probably.
Yeah, he played that pretty well. He was really focusing on that 6 ball. Very often you see players try to focus sometimes on cue ball and object ball and don't get either. I'm not saying that he did that there, but really wanted to make sure that 6 ball was pretty safe. But gifted a chance to the Austrian pair here. Pretty straight on this 7, looks like, Tim. Not sure if he can go forward or not. Might just choose to draw back a little bit, leave a bit of an angle on the 8. Oh, there you see. Yeah, it's got a bit of angle. It's totally fine.
Yeah, if there's one thing that both the OUSCHANS will do is trying to leave themselves the casual angles, the correct side of the ball. Both excellent straight pool players too, and well, you won't be able to run 100, for example, giving yourself the wrong angles.
Yeah, they're both obviously very big favourites coming into this tournament, but you do have some other good pairs out there as well, looking to chase that first prize and 40,000 for the winner. Not a bad payday. Maybe just see, or maybe not see, just over the shoulder there on table one as Yasmin takes this next rack to go 2-1 in front. We do have table one in operation. And over on that table we have Savannah Easton from the USA against with Jonas Suto from Spain against Kelly Fisher and Alex Kazakis. That will be an interesting match as well. Obviously, Kelly and Alex winning doubles in the past. I've commentated on the match, Tim, with Savannah and Jonas yesterday. They were having so much fun, laughing and joking, and it really transferred onto the table. And they played a fantastic match in their match yesterday to get into the quarterfinals. Really good pairing. I think, is that the first time? Do you know? I'm not sure if you do, Tim, but maybe first time they're playing together, or have they done it before?
Well, I'm honestly not too sure. I'm also not too sure how they actually teamed up. I know Jonas nowadays he's playing. Well, he did spend some time at Classic Billiards in the US. He's been also spending some time with the Shark Stream. Is a group of people, I believe, near New Jersey, I think. Anyways, I might be completely wrong there, but maybe there's some influence between these parties where Savannah has been involved too. But yeah, definitely they look to be playing well. They have a couple scalps already, beating higher ranked teams. And who knows? They are in the quarterfinals. Great result already.
Yeah, fully agree. Exciting stuff. Oh, man, what a thunderous break there. Nothing down though, unless there's four ball. Two ball, apologies, hanging over the corner. What a chance. This is what you hope for.
Yeah,
Open table.
does the 5 go to the top right? That's what I'm wondering. Makes a bit of a difference. Overall, don't think the layout is too bad.
Yeah, again, but I appreciate I'm going to repeat myself again a little bit, but it will come down to these moments. Open table. No major problems. You have to take these chances against the top players, as you know yourself, Tim. They don't come around all that often in these matches, so you really want to punish them when you get the chance. But they're in good shape here. The five ball, like you say, is going to be a key one. It doesn't look like it goes past in the top right corner, but there is a combo one, which you only want to play if you have no option. But judging by the angle they've left on this four, maybe it tells you it might go past him, or you think they're going to play the combo. I can't see them maybe getting to the right side of the table here. She might be able to squeeze it past the eight.
Yeah, you might be able to play low left, but then the scratch could be on. Maybe 3 rails.
Oh,
Oh,
she squeezed
perfect.
it. Paces a
Oh,
bit much.
perfect. The line was nice, but look at how awkward they got over the 9. Kind of like what they tried to do. Don't think there was another way to get to the right side, so that must mean the 5 doesn't go to the top right. You will be playing safe. Not much else to do. Hoping for another shot.
Yeah, and again, Missed opportunity there. Getting so close to one shot away from really winning the rack there. I think Yasmin and Al will be glad to get back to the table, just trying to find a good safety option. I mean, does she go for the aggressive bank? It's tempting, but probably not.
In some kind of way, the bank, it looks really natural. You don't really have to play much speed. Guaranteed shape on the 6. You can even leave the cue ball to the right long rail in case you don't make it. The cue ball gives a tough position.
Yeah. It's pretty good pace.
And yeah, might not even be onto the bottom left. Looks like a good shot from Jasmine. She played with a hair of inside though, so that's why the 5 will straighten up a bit more.
Which corner pocket did they nominate? Is it going for the bank or going to try to bend it? Maybe they. Yeah, I'm not sure what she's called. She did say. I heard him say 5-ball corner pocket, so
Must be the
something is-
bank.
Maybe she can bend it.
From this, it just really doesn't look like she can cut it, but if she can cut it, definitely she'll be cutting it against. Oh, I mean, apparently it was on. Maybe if she played a bit more outside spin, definitely was on.
Not a bad outcome though. Albin can definitely see the 5 in some way. Not sure how much of it he can get. I mean, there is a bank on here as well if he wanted to go all out attack, but getting on the 6-ball. Yeah, that's what he's calling. It's going to have to be a powerful one, I think, Tim, maybe. Just to get that cue ball moving a bit. He's hit the 8-ball.
Oh.
Wow. That's a big surprise. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened
that's
there.
not something we've seen coming.
Maybe it was tighter than it looked, but he surely wasn't trying to jump over the edge of the 8 or anything there, you think, Tim? I think that was just a miscalculation.
I mean, maybe it was. Well, he'd miscalculated. That's the one thing we can say for sure because he's hit the 8-ball first. But maybe he was, as he had to bank and stiff the ball, make it short anyways, so he needed that pace. Maybe he was thinking, I elevate a bit more, can get a bit more over the edge. Who knows? I mean, he is definitely advanced enough, also in banks and jumps, like that. I mean, I would not be surprised if he tried.
Yeah, exactly. But, oh dear,
Oh,
how's your
got a
luck?
bit deep.
Well, how about that for a second prize? Tim, that hasn't landed too bad, you know. I know it's close, but if he can play the cue ball away, they're still in this rack. I mean, they could play a very easy thin edge off the 7, but I don't know. Oh, maybe not from that angle. Taking this on might not be ideal. Maybe he is.
Or maybe he can elevate, right spin. No, just pocketed the ball and said, well, I made mine, now it's your turn.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that shot because this position is way more tricky, even from a safety or a potting perspective, than playing off the edge of the 7. I know it might have been a more containing shot, but maybe there was an option to flick off the 7 and try and get behind the 8 or something. This is really
Well,
awkward.
I was wondering, could he have played it with right spin? Like draw off the left long rail? I mean, she actually, I think she hit the 8 perfect to where if the 9 wasn't there, she would have made it. But the 9 was blocking just slightly, and that's why she's missed the 8. This
Yeah,
definitely could bring up the nerves. This rack, back and forth mistakes now.
yeah, and I think there's an element of, you kind of want to try to take a chance when it comes. Whether that's the right time or not can always be debated, but maybe he felt, there's still a good chance we can go for this. She's going into the 9 here. How's your luck? Oh, wow. She'll take that. Puts her hand in the air, but They won't mind. They will be happily just drop this 9 in. That was a nice little bump, Tim. Reminds me of one of yours. Yeah, nicely done. She'll take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the game. You got to take it when it comes, because very easily those kisses can sometimes don't go your way. So it gets them on the hill, though, Tim. It was a big bump, really, in the context of this set.
Yeah, definitely. If you consider the fact that they had ball in hand on, what is it, 4 or 5 balls on the table to tie the score at 2. Kind of a crucial moment in this set. If the OUSCHANS break a run now, then technically that mistake, that must run out, have cost them the set.
Yeah, definitely. But that is history. Can't turn back time, and they can't turn back time. I do think, like I said at the start of this match, with it being race to 4, obviously you've got a couple of chances within to kind of regroup and start again, because everybody needs to win 2 sets to progress to the next round. So you can try again. The referee just taking his time on these balls. Here we go. So Yasmin hoping to get something down. And look at the lowest ball on the table. Nearly makes the 1, but doesn't. Makes 1 as something in the side. There's 1 ball. It's going to be a push out, Tim. They're laughing. All the balls are down one side of the table. Bit of a strange break.
Yeah, and also, where do you push to, as almost every position gives them... Well, most of the options is if you kick at the 1 ball, you have 6 balls to lay in between. So it's so easy to defend yourself on this 1 ball if you give a little bit more on the push.
Yeah, there's a lot more skill that goes into a push out than maybe a regular player might think. It's not just a case of pushing anywhere. There's this high level. There's so much things that players can do now with jumping and kicking that you have to. Yeah, it's not so straightforward. Has he left an edge? If he has, then it gives an option. If they're hooked, I'm sure he would have gave that straight back. So that tells me he can catch the edge of this 1, Tim.
And that's what I mentioned every time you... Well, if you have to push with this many balls on the table like this, you send the cue ball up table, it would be very unlucky if they give a chance, an opportunity for the OUSCHANS to hit this 1. But just when I was about to say that, you will see that there is a window between the 4-8.
Just thinking, that's exactly what's happened. I mean, that's incredible, really, if Yasmin can get through there. Clearly she can't. She can even separate the balls to put the cue ball next to the 6, maybe. That would be wild if she can. Oh, no.
Oh.
Well, similar to her brother. Miscalculation there. Maybe because she was putting a bit of spin on the ball. Could have maybe pushed the cue ball a little bit to the left. Ever so slightly, potentially.
Yeah, it looked like she was going to catch the double kiss, so a bit full. So maybe she was trying to curve the cue ball a slight bit in between. Now, she has pushed a ball over near the 3-2. Just wondering... Oh, they have left the 2 in the side. That's already... Well, it must be on clearly, and the 3 goes to the bottom right, but... Wasn't really expecting that, to be honest. It's so easy to get on the rail from a position like that on the 2. So a little bit of straight queuing needed off the rail. It's always awkward.
Yeah, a little surprised he kind of stunned that in the side. It did look like he had a bit of angle. He could have rolled it and just maybe had a little bit of a better angle, or better cue ball at least, on this 3. Just played into the 9. It hasn't worked out, Tim. Don't think so. Now he's eyeing up the jump shot. He does have a 1 real kick. Yeah, that's what he's looking at. Not bothering with the jump. I fully expect him to hit this ball, but where it lands is going to be the $1 million question, Tim.
Oh, I fear the worst. Is he gonna try and leave the 8 and the 2 in between? The 8 and the 10 in between. Well, I think he was going all in on trying to make that. One good shot for Albin could bring them the set.
Yeah, just wondering if he can drag this one in. Kind of just cue it in with lots of bottom. I don't like going forward off 2 rails. I just feel that one looks like it could run away. I like the draw shot better, but depends how he sees it. Yeah, I think it's a bit thinner than it looked a moment ago, but still should be okay. Depends how far up table this cue ball is going to run away, Tim. I don't think Yasmin can play off the long rail, then come back across long rail and even use the short rail if she wants to go power shot, but it could be a drop in. She is using the rails. Needs to slow down though.
Yeah, quite a natural angle to play with top left. 2 rails. Big area.
Yeah, he overcut that a bit, didn't he? Just a little bit. That's why they're a little bit lower on the 8. Still fine though, because the 9 ball is a little bit higher to the top side of the table in the middle pocket, so Yasmin has a lot of table to play with up there. She can play this many different ways. He's having a look, but it's not on the point. It's too far in the table. Maybe you have to play the 10 ball from around that area, Tim, potentially in the bottom right as we look here.
Well, he's got plenty to work with, yeah. I mean, not too sure why he gave that funny look to Jasmine on that 9. But it's straight in 10 to seal the deal in the opening set. And gotta say, strong performance. Couple mistakes from Ayala and OBAIDLY costing them the set. They are gonna look for a timeout to see whether they can improve on, well, small things, I would say. And that means we are gonna go for the timeout. Graham and myself will be going for a timeout too. But we will be coming back very shortly, probably a minute or 2, with the continuation of this match. The second set will be coming up very shortly. And welcome back for the Little Monster Mixed Doubles Open. We just seen the OUSCHANS capture the first set against AYALA and OBAIDLY. They struggled a bit in the opening set. They started off well, but then a couple mistakes here and there. So they will be looking to do better. In the commentary booth, Graham Hickman, myself, Tim de Ruiter. Graham, where do you think the opportunities will lay for them in the second set?
Yeah, well, I think before we jump into that second set, Tim, I think we've got to think of the opportunities in the first. So they have missed a few. So clearly, Albin and Yasmin have gifted a couple of chances which they haven't taken. I think they're going to need a little bit of fortune like this, maybe. Of course, a jump shot with the ball near the corner. You've got to favour Albin to make this. But I think it's about the break. Because the safety play-wise, I just think Yasmin and Albin are just so strong. They need a bit of help, basically, is what I'm saying, Tim.
Well, I'm definitely a fan so far of their queuing. But indeed, we've seen a couple shots going wrong. They held themselves nicely in the defense department. But on the offensive side, they missed out on a couple. Now, nice jump from Albin. Obviously, he was trying to draw back for shape on the two. But at least they stay at the table. And I think Jasmine could play the 2 into the 7. And the cue ball 1 rail behind the 4. But she is playing this thin. I think that the shot clock might have gotten her there. If they left it on. Because she looked very rushed on that shot.
Yeah, great. I don't know if she's left the pot on, but she definitely can hit the 2 ball. Depends how much. Well, maybe he can make it. No.
Yeah, I was trying to get the cue ball underneath the 9. Just a slight bit too much stun. And also trying to bank the 2 ball to the top short rail. I think it has worked out just enough. But Albin can definitely bank the 2 ball straight down. Well, I like how much he's held the cue ball there. Low left. Making the 2 ball go a little shorter. It's got the full hook. This is a bit of a trap. I'm not saying it's impossible to hit, but kicking 2 rails on this 2 ball, the 9 comes a bit into play.
Yeah, this is tricky.
Looking a bit wide, I think. No, I was wrong. Great hit. But we do know what's coming next on this 2 ball. And OBAIDLY is not going to like it, I fear.
Yeah, I'm half wondering how Yasmin's going to go behind the 5. I thought she could have just played straight into the 2 and moved the 5 as well. And screw behind the 4, but opted for the slower option. I thought she could have maybe played the 2 out with the 5 and screwed behind the 4. Put a bit more distance. He's looking at the 3, so... No, he's definitely hooked, has to be. Can you get the edge and cut this in the top left, Tim?
I don't think so. To me it looks... Well, he can always put a little bit of masse on there. A little curve. The angle we got... I mean, I really didn't think he would be able to hit the 2, but he's starting to make me doubt too. Oh dear. 2 ball in front of the corner. And if the 5 goes in the left center, what is there to go wrong? Plenty of space to move the cue ball. 4, 5, 6 is connecting. It's like it's laying up for grabs.
Yeah, I think you called it, that 5-ball, Tim. That looks extremely tight for me. The good news is, though, if they can have good position on the 4, could maybe make a little nudge on the 5 or try to make something a bit more potable. Can also go wrong as well, but that 5 does look tight in the side, at least on the camera angle. But if you're right behind it, 6-ball is just waiting, so might be okay. Find out in a moment. She looked a little bit disappointed there, Tim, so I'm wondering if she's looking at the bank there, so maybe the 5 isn't as favourable in the side. She wanted a bit more angle to bump into it, I think. So
And I still believe if they play a stop shot on this, I cannot imagine them missing the 5. The only thing they gotta do is pocket the 5, and even the 6 goes to the top left. So if they're straight on the 5, pot the ball and you're good. What are they looking for? Oh, they were playing safe. I mean, they've done well, but I was so sure that the 5 ball was available, and it was off the rails, so that's telling me the side pockets on these arc tables are quite challenging. So sure, the corners do play maybe bigger, of course, with the new equipment. I've seen some comments from people about it, but it's not easy to play rotation pool using only the corner pockets.
yeah, good call. She went for the thin edge and safety shot, paying dividends, ball in hand, and you'd have to think this is, well, yeah, bread and butter for this pair. Yeah, all quarterfinals matches in operation at the moment. All battling to get into that semi-final, which will be played later tonight, around 7 p.m. local time. All going well with matches before. So we won't find out who the champion will be today. I do believe that'll be in a couple of days.
Yeah, a bit short for the side, but then again, like I mentioned, the corner does take the balls a bit easier. But never even touched the sides. So the advantage with the OUSCHANS. And I have to say, they are starting to look very steady, while AYALA and OBAIDLY are falling apart just a bit. We might be having a very quick match here, from or by the looks of it. You still never know, though. It's a race to 4. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Hopefully, they can get things together. Yeah, referee making sure the balls are not racked in a bad way. I mean, we've seen some struggles. I mean, that's always going to be happening with the hand rack. It's not always easy to keep it nice and tight, and gaps are always going to be happening. But with the early tens, we have to be careful not to have the 10 moving in front of the pocket over and over. So I'm glad he's actually putting a bit more time on that.
Well, big side from Albin. Can be quite animated at times. He's thinking, if I just got a ball in there, we had a good chance. However, chance has fallen to their opponents. Not a terrible starter, to be honest. He's got some options here. Just going to focus on potting the one. Get going. 3 ball is down table. So it requires a little bit of up and down maybe, with the 4 ball being back up table, Tim. So not a clean table, but a chance still.
Talking about the racking, by the way, I just want to give a little shout out to the referee. As you can see, the 10 barely moved. In my opinion, that is a good sign. A little bit of a coincidence though that the 3 ball is laying quite near it, so not expecting them to play a 3-10 combination, but if they get too short, they might. But they definitely got something on this 3 ball. Cue ball a bit close to the rail though, Graham.
Yeah, this is tricky. We'll see in a moment from the camera angle. I don't think he's got much to do with it. And you see digging down. Going to have to leave a long 4 here, Tim. Not really any other options. This also requires good cueing.
Yeah, possibly the best thing he could have done, but this is a long 4. She's missed one of those before, even though I think she's hit it quite well earlier on the 8. Don't want that to be stuck in her mind, as she hit it well. Sometimes you just dwell on the past a bit. Good shot. Does she get on the 5? Does it land in between?
Wow,
Maybe a bit.
Obviously on the 5, Tim, but I think is it going a little bit towards the 10 or under the 10? I have to put a bit of a draw on this and draw it off the short rail, back out on the long rail. Bit of a stroke here.
Well, pure confidence there. Not scared of the side pockets. He said, I practiced on worse. Beautiful stroke. Now, I mean, then again, I don't believe in all that commentator's curse and all that stuff, but this should be out. The only thing that really could go wrong if they get the pace wrong from the 7 to the 8. But if they can get straightish on the 8, the 9 is next to it and a small draw gives them the 10. Yeah, it's landed all right.
Yeah, if that landed on top of the 10, maybe it could have caused a bit of a problem, but it's so close to the side. Just drop this in. Yeah, battling out there, Tim. The battling, this hasn't been a straightforward run out by any means.
Yeah, and glad to see Ayala and OBAIDLY get another game on the board. It's been quite some time. I'm actually not sure, but it might have been 5 on the spin for the OUSCHANS. If you consider, I think Ayala OBAIDLY won the first rack and then lost 5 in a row to now win their second for this whole match.
Yeah, it's a good observation, Tim. I didn't think about that. They did win the first rack, you're right. So it could be. Oh, we had a timeout in between, but at least 45 minutes, maybe longer, to get a rack on the board. But that's the good thing about these set formats. The last set doesn't really matter as much anymore because it can't change. All they can focus on now is trying to get the 4 first in this set, otherwise it will be game over. Okay, let's see how this break opens up for the Argentinian. She has been hitting the break pretty well. Seems to be able to give it a the cue ball there. Really good, powerful break. Maybe nothing in reward. One ball's not potable, but they can see it, which can make for better options than a push out. Just wondering if that one ball can be sent straight down the table, Tim. It's kind of like a double and play a bit of a stop shot. Try and get some cover. Obviously, the distance from the white to the one ball makes it a little bit more difficult to control the one, but that is a potential scenario.
Well, they could definitely do something aggressive on the 10. It's maybe a little bit of a crazy call, but I've seen some great combinations happen. Because I think it's a bit funny how the 1 is laying. Do they not like the stop shot behind the 4? And banking the 1 ball out towards the 9?
Yeah, that's what I said. So I think that was the most logical option for me. Oh, wait a minute. He's pushed it a little bit too hard with the pace. I did think the pace was a bit tricky to hold.
Well, the reason why I said it is that he called something on the 1 ball. And, well, didn't really look like he got close to anything. So he got me a little bit confused there. I don't like this shot as well. I prefer to play safety over going for the cut and trying not to scratch in the top right.
Oh, it's in. Well, how about that for a shot? Thin on this too, but Cuba will be travelling. Don't think she can hold it. Depends how thin it is. Is she going to go around the 10 ball here, or can she hold it? She's trying to hold it, Tim. I tell you what, she done well there. It was thin.
Yeah, and as the 4 goes to the bottom right, it didn't really matter the left or the right side on the 3 ball. Of course, they would have maybe liked to be closer to the 3 or a different angle, but certainly something to work with. Mid-range 3 ball needs to draw. He certainly strikes the ball very smooth. Straight cue action.
See that 2-ball, that 1-ball bank. The racks that this pair has been taking out has been far from straightforward. This one has also been not the conventional route. They seem to be finding a way. It's another good shot here. Try and get this cue ball down table. Maybe a little bit short there. He's left a little bit of work for Ayala here. Which means it's not potable, but a bit of distance and not the ideal angle, Tim. Can she just hold this? Drag this up and play the 7 in the bottom left?
She should be able to. The more right spin she plays, the fuller she can aim the 6 ball as well.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, like you said, Tim, she is a solid player. If you say she has been improving, well, very impressed so far with what I've seen. I think also from the prize money, Tim, as well. I mean, it's not something we often talk about massively. We take for granted. Sometimes these big tournaments, 10,000, 20, 30, 40, all these things, it's quite a bit of money. And of course, I don't know anyone's financial situations. None of us do. But it's nice to be in that money already. Like you say, it takes a little bit of pressure off any players who have to deal with traveling or expenses, or, some people do have sponsors, but not everybody does. If you think about Euro Tour events, if you win a women's Euro Tour or a men's Euro Tour, it's like 5,000-6,000 there, or for the women. Oh, just as we were talking, what's happened there? They were looking so good, Tim. What a mistake. Could have been ahead there.
Well, yeah, definitely a bit surprised. But sometimes when the object ball is so close to the cushion and you pot the ball maybe too clean into the corner, that's when the cue ball bounces out first before taking the draw. And that might have happened on him, coming up a bit short. I think that's exactly what he's trying to explain to his partner now, that he was trying to drag it long and it just caught on him. Or if you play a little bit more of a punchy stroke compared to a very smooth stroke, it takes the draw earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And just as what I was talking about, Tim, was when you start looking at prize money and just kind of comparison to certain things, and there's a lot of good events out there. If you win a Euro Tour, a women's Euro Tour, the upcoming Spain event, it's like €3,200 for the winner, which is a pretty good payday. And they've run $2,500 here. So I'm not going to do my conversion, but it's like going very deep in a Euro Tour from a prize money, and this is a quarterfinal, so the money starts to jump pretty quickly for players, especially those who are maybe not so familiar with this kind of level, and maybe that can creep in a little bit into pressure for some players. Maybe, Tim, I don't know, but it does have to have an impact at some point, I think, financially, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of players out there that can play a solid match of pool, but it's also something to play a solid match near the business end of the tournament, because it just gives a different vibe. Now suddenly you get to the last couple players, everybody is watching only those matches. Like, always more people are going to be watching the last 16s, the last 8, last 4. So you feel that presence. It's about more money. You usually meet the stronger players too. So there's definitely... Oh, look at this for a pot, but just doesn't get on the 2 ball, I feel. And it's all... I think it's a lot of dynamics that comes to it. And that's why, for example, the OUSCHANS are so strong. They have experienced the later stages of the tournaments so often in their career.
Yeah, definitely. Experience is the key word, and I think the more you play, the more you put yourself in those positions. Either way, I'm sure OBAIDLY and AYALA, whatever happens in this match, it's great experience for them to go quite deep. And judging by what we've seen so far, very solid. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more over future events. Either way, whatever happens in this match. But yeah, do you go aggressive here? That 3-10 combo could be inviting if you make the bank, or do you just try and find a safety, Tim? It's very aggressive,
I
but
like I like it. I mean, it looks quite straight. You can bring the cue ball under the 9, a little bit of a safety in mind. You could even play this in the side directly. Yeah, I like it. I mean, this 3-10 could bring them on the double hill.
yeah, you have to say if this goes, which is highly likely, what a great one ball by OBAIDLY. Just didn't get on the 2, and it wasn't an awful kick shot, just... And it goes. All of a sudden, a quick rack in this format, Tim, is pretty brutal, especially at this stage of the match, and it puts them on the hill, one rack away from a semi-final. Everything to do for this pair.
Yeah, they need, well, definitely a shot after the break, which is a little easier than that one ball. I think OBAIDLY played a fantastic shot on the one. It's just that the cue ball in and out, it was really tricky to play.
Yeah, he was only a roll or two away from getting on that 2 ball. But I do like what I've seen from both players. Albin and Yasmin have been generally solid overall. They've both made mistakes. I think maybe a couple of gifts from their opponents has helped them on the way, but that's what happens. One more big break coming here. Oh, this will be the Austrians' last break of this set, whatever happens. It's going a little bit more central for the break.
Well, more like his 8-ball break in the World 8-ball Championship, the one he won a couple months ago. Great table breaker in general, looking for a big smash. There it goes. And he makes balls plenty. No future though, look at this. Almost no balls near the bottom side of the table, but no future.
I mean, when you talk about breaks, Tim, that was an absolute cruncher. Balls everywhere flying, and probably hard done by, you would say. Not to have a look at something, whether you could pot it or not is a different question, but to be hooked. Yeah.
Well, the feeling to know that you actually hit the break probably the best you could, because he hit it dead square in the face, almost no spin on the cue ball, great impact. I mean, like, I think all the ingredients were there. Then it's basically up to the balls to give you a little bit of luck, yes or no. That feeling can be so brutal at times, because there's nothing more you could have done. This is it.
Yeah, exactly. Now this table is very messy, so it's going to be a little bit of safety play, or someone has to figure something out. In terms of hiding, Tim, it's a funny one, because where the object ball is, there isn't really a side of the cue ball, that side of the object ball to get that cue ball up behind the 8 isn't really on. So unless he pots it and then tries to do something from the 4, maybe.
There is a really creative shot though, I see, is banking the 2 ball towards the 5, and then the cue ball 2 rails under the 4-10, 2 or 3. Sensitive, but it's there.
Yeah, it's a good,
But
good
this
shot.
this is probably the easier safety of the 2. But really, if you play this kind of safety, you have to focus on bringing the cue ball behind the 6. That's a minimum, because we can definitely expect the OUSCHANS to, well, bring the cue ball behind the 7, 8, 9 now. 3 rails, 4 rails.
That's a target. There you go, Tim. Exactly
Yeah,
what you expect.
maybe not the ideal pace, but so I think the Ushans played a bit of chess there, knowing that they were leaving that two ball on. It's definitely one you cannot resist taking on. So Obaidly had to take it on, but he also had to play it perfect with cover behind the six. Otherwise, they would find themselves in early trouble. So a bit of chess played by the Ushans. Ooh. Well, the 4-10 now in the open. The 4 does go to the top right. The run out is available. If you can position yourself in between the 5-9 for the 5 in the bottom right. Still some work to do though. It's not a... Well, it's never a roadmap to close out the match and double your prize money. But it certainly is an opportunity.
Yeah, that's so funny. Just got that a little bit fat, maybe. It's so funny how the pool balls work in every game is so different. Just from that jump shot, it was a pretty good hit by Ayala, but the way that the 4 opened up in the gap between the 7 and 8 and a shot on the 2, everything just kind of seemed to now be more viable to run out in one shot. Everything seemed to just open up. It's crazy how it happens. Needs a bounce. Well, if he's perfectly straight, Tim, this could be a bit of an issue.
Well, definitely they will have to play for the bank on the 6. Or a safety on the 6 ball. There's no... Yeah, there's nothing else to it. I mean, well, I'm
She could
actually
run through.
wondering... Yeah, she has a slight angle still. Oh.
Wow, that was very jabby. Maybe the shot clock there. I don't know what happened there. She had a bit more time, I think, just to top that through. And even if she got below the middle pockets, Tim, it was on the 6 ball really. But a missed opportunity there.
Well, that means it's not over for Ayala Obaidly. But they have to step things up. Is he going to play the bump into the 9? Yes, he has. We'll have to play the 9 in the bottom right. Should be fine. Just leave yourself straight on the 9. The more you get off the rail, now suddenly the shot starts to be funny, especially if you start aiming on the ball. Sometimes you just feel it, you drop down, you lock in and you swing at it. When you start aiming, many things can go wrong on this. But not for Ali Obaidly.
Yeah, we're not done yet, Tim. Missed chance there. Yasmin will be raging with that a little bit. Okay, she could say maybe Albin left her a little bit hampered on the 9, but in all honesty, that 5 ball wasn't as difficult for her level. She could have just rolled it in. Maybe just wanted to try and punch it out. She's talking there. Maybe the hand placement wasn't ideal, so I can understand. Big shot, but means there's still life in this match yet. And over on the other table, one Fischer and Kazakis against Easton and Suto. Kazakis and Fischer are still one set up, but that is now 2-2 in that second set. So they're also going pretty close in that second set, which Suto and Easton need to win. That's on table 1 live now on the YouTube channel, where you're currently watching with us right now. If you have 2 screens, watch them both. Maybe listen to Tim and I if you want to stay with this match. Whatever takes your fancy. Big break coming here, Tim.
Yeah, everything matters at this point for Ayala and OBAIDLY. A dry break here with shape on the 1 could still be all over. So everything matters. Oh, that 1 ball. It hung up twice on him. And that 7 ball to the rescue.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's incredible. I was just going to say the commentator's curse. You said it doesn't exist, but you nearly called exactly what was going to happen. And the 7 ball. Do they have a one reel kick at this? Just a slow roll and drop the 1 in? Push out isn't really an option. Because if they push out to a jump, you've got to fancy them to make it. So might have to go for this.
Yeah, unless you can push balls together to where the run out becomes a lot more challenging. Pushing the 5-9 together. Just leave shape on the 1, but push the 5-9 together, or 6-4. Cut the 6 to the top side of the 4 and bring the cue ball to the bottom short rail. Let them try the run out from there. Could be quite a challenge. With how awkward it's queuing over the 7, I'm just anxious to put a slight bit of spin left or right, and you're going to give ball in hand on an open table.
Yeah, I was just thinking that other option could be put it in the right corner pocket area, just to avoid leaving the 1 ball on. How's the pace though? That's all he could really leave. It's obviously not potable in the side, I don't think. It's quite deceiving on the camera sometimes.
Yeah, I would cut this probably. I mean, it looks like you can play with left and go 2 rails back to the center.
I think this is on. I think Albin's overhit this. You want to be a little bit more down to the right, and maybe a touch closer to the rail. This looks on for me. Could be a mistake. I think it was on. She just mishit it completely.
Yeah, I think she also needed a lot more left spin to throw the 1 to the right. So hit it thin, and then the spin helping on the 1 ball.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure on this run out. Of course, they're ahead. But you know yourself, Tim. You know, if you don't take the match out after a couple of attempts, it starts to play on you a little bit. Not that I don't think they have the experience to forget about the last rack, but this is another chance. The balls aren't too bad. Maybe the 6 ball, but judging by where the 5 is, if you can get pretty okay on the 4, which they should be, this looks like a great chance, or a second chance to win the match here, Tim. It's all about composure.
Well, at this point, I'm a bit too scared to say anything. Don't want to do the commentator's curse again, but really, if you look at it, if they land high on the 5, it's okay. If they land a bit lower on the 5, I think it's still okay. The 7 is blocking a bit for the area on the 6, but you can get to the left long rail, stun over for the 7 in the side, in case you get too much angle. So overall, I just think this is a great chance. And also with the way with the knowledge they have about the cue ball, you don't really hook yourself in these kind of positions where the shapes are, well, pretty big. The shape for the next shot is a big area.
Yeah, definitely. Any kind of shape on this 6 will work, even if it was perfectly straight. Stop shot, you could play the 7 in the top right, which leaves a nice angle on the 8 to 9. But he does have a little bit of angle here. Maybe he can just punch this out. Choice of top corner or side, whatever he prefers. Well, he's put that in the middle, Tim. It could have been a bit better, to be honest. It's okay, but it could have been a lot easier than this for me.
Well,
If
we
you
don't
left me
shoot
there,
as straight, so that
I was
works.
just yeah, I was just going to say if you left me there, Tim, I would have thought, come on. But yeah, strokes at centre pocket.
Well, it's Jasmine.
Exactly. No dramas.
Well, it's a bit of a challenge. I mean, I probably would like to go 2 rails. I'm going around the 10, 2 rails, telling myself to just slightly bump the second rail. In that case, even if it goes a diamond off, it's okay, and if anything in between should be fine. They have chosen to go 1 rail to guarantee the angle. This means a bit more work maybe on the 9. No straight draw. Low right spin to cross over past the side. Probably the biggest shot for the OUSCHANS to make it to the semifinals. Just past the side, but a bit more punch. And a bit more cut for Albin. This is to get to the semifinals though. $10,000 of prize money up for grabs if he makes this 10.
Yeah, pressure ball, but it's not Albin's first rodeo.
Yeah, and down goes the 10, and you can see the relief for Jasmine in the background. So it is the OUSCHANS going through to the semifinals. Unfortunately for Soledad Ayala and Ali OBAIDLY.